Here we go. Chapter 6, Circumcision, Neville Goddard. We're going to redefine this act, this symbolic act, in a spiritual sense. Circumcision is the operation which removes a veil that hides the head of creation. The physical act has nothing to do with the spiritual act. The whole world could be physically circumcised and yet remain unclean and blind leaders of the blind. The spiritually circumcised have had the veil of darkness removed and know themselves to be the Christ, the light of the world. Let me now perform the spiritual operation on you, the reader. And I just want to stop for a second and see fascinating that he uses the words that we are the light of the world. And that becoming the light of the world is realizing that you have the Christ in you. And this goes right along with where I'm at in the Course of Miracles right now, which is kind of hilarious. Our review, I've been reviewing lessons, is I am the light of the world. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. It's literally what I've been studying the last 2 days. This is the review process. There's actually lessons, but it's all about realizing that you are the light of the world, and you do it by forgiving others, by seeing whatever's in front of you and forgiving it in them and forgiving it in yourself, and that reveals the Christ in you. And here Neville's talking about it 40 years earlier. Let me now perform the spiritual operation on you, the reader. This act is performed on the 8th day after birth. 8, because 8 is the figure that has neither beginning or ending. Furthermore, the ancients symbolized the 8th numeral as an enclosure or veil, within and behind which lay buried the mystery of creation. Thus, the secret of the operation on the 8th day is in keeping with the nature of the act, which act is to reveal the eternal head of creation. This is fascinating. One of my numbers is 8. If you're into numerology, I find that interesting. That changeless something in which all things begin and end, and remains its eternal self when all things cease to be. This mysterious something is your awareness of being. So your imaging or I am device in your head, your creative device, whatever sits behind the mask of your body. At this moment, you are aware of being, but you are aware of being someone. This someone is the veil that hides the being that you really are. It's wild to me because this is essentially what the Course of Miracles is saying, and a lot of what I've been studying in another format. You are first conscious of being, then you are conscious of being man. After the veil of man is placed upon your faceless self, you become conscious of being a member of a certain race, nation, family, creed, etc. The veil to be lifted in spiritual circumcision is the veil of man. But before this can be done, you must cut away the adhesions of race, nation, family, and so on. And Abraham will talk about this, and a lot of spiritual mechanisms will talk about this, releasing of attachment, realizing that you are something else behind the human, even untethered soul. When we were reading is talking about that. Who am I? What is behind this human being that I think I am? And this idea of ego, that there's a split between our spirit mind and our ego mind. And that this is what it has to do with, that there's a veil in front of what we really are. It's fascinating to hear it in this context. In Christ, there is neither Greek nor Jew, bond nor free, male nor female. You must leave father, mother, brother, and follow me. To accomplish this, you must stop identifying yourself with these divisions by becoming indifferent to such claims. Indifference is the knife that severs. Feeling is the tie that binds. When you can look upon man as one grand brotherhood without distinction of race, creed, or color, then you will know that you have severed these adhesions. Isn't that fascinating? When you can look upon man as one grand brotherhood. The Course in Miracles would say God has one son, and it always talks about your brother. Forgiving your brother, being with your brother. And so seeing it without distinction of race, creed, color, gender, religion, political background. Think of all the ways that we slice and dice ourselves these days. How many groups you have a problem with? Is it, pro-lifers or pro-choicers, right? Is it Christians or is it atheists? Is it Buddhists or Muslims? What kind of colors don't we like? Which states do we disagree with? What politicians? Republicans or Democrats? Which one's in your craw? Who do you think is automatically right? People that support global warming or environmentalism, or those hacks that are buying into, some liberal weird messaging. We all have these ideas of where we're slicing and dicing groups. And so it's talking about, you got to stop. You got to get indifferent to all that. It's a game that's being played. Sure, it's happening. We see it happening, but indifferent to all of it as one grand brotherhood, just one group of beings, the same branches on a tree that are playing a game. And when you're picking sides, as Neville has said before, as soon as you feel aligned with a group, then when that group is criticized, you feel criticized and condemned, and then you have an enemy to attack. You can excuse your attack, and you can't view things as one brotherhood. You can't view this as something, a sort of beautiful game, and that each person is a Christ, and there's a veil in front of it. And we can't do deep work with people. We can't really heal people or really have a conversation about bringing everyone together in one brotherhood unless you can see everyone as equal. That's the thing about being the light of the world and realizing that anything that plays on the screen in front of you is something you get to forgive in you. That's where the Course in Miracles goes with it. Anything on the screen, any person, you think you have nothing in common with that person that you can't stand that you're looking at, think again, they're showing something in you. Even if it's a resentment you have, that you get to forgive. And as you forgive them and see them blameless, so you will also be forgiven and see yourself as blameless, and you'll heal both. I don't know if that's where he's going with it here, but it seems apropos to add. With these ties cut, all that now separates you from your true being is your belief that you are a man or woman. To remove this last veil, you must drop your conception of yourself as man, as human, by knowing yourself just to be. Instead of the consciousness of I am man, let there just be I am faceless, formless awareness. Then, unveiled and awake, you will declare and know that I am is God. And beside me, this awareness, there is no God. This mystery is told in the Bible story of Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. It is recorded that Jesus laid aside his garments and took a towel and girded himself. Then, after washing his disciples' feet, he wiped them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Peter protested and was told that unless his feet were washed, he would have no part of Jesus. Peter replied, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and head. Jesus answered and said, He that is washed needeth not save to wash feet, but is clean everywhere. Common sense would tell the reader that a man is not clean all over just because his feet are washed. So he should either discard the story or look for its hidden meaning. Every story of the Bible is a psychological drama taking place in the consciousness of man, and this is no exception. This washing of the disciples' feet is the mystical story of spiritual circumcision, or the revealing of the secrets of the Lord. Jesus is called the Lord. You are told that the Lord's name is I am Jesus. I am the Lord, that is my name, Isaiah 42:8. Jesus is girded with a towel, therefore his secrets are hidden. Jesus, or Lord, symbolizes your awareness of being, whose secrets are hidden by the towel, consciousness of man. So it's a veil. Again, you've got a towel that's like veiling your consciousness. The foot symbolizes the understanding. Walk ye in his footsteps, or understanding, which must be washed by the Lord, awareness of all human beliefs or conceptions of itself. As the towel is removed to dry the feet, the secrets of the Lord are revealed. So as the veil is removed to wash away the understanding of being a man, the secrets are revealed. In short, the removing of the belief that you are man reveals your awareness as the head of creation. Man is the foreskin hiding the head of creation. I am the Lord hidden by the veil of man. That's pretty deep. Whew. So in other words, first we have to get rid of our attachments to race, creed, color, see everyone as equal. And that's the first step before we can then get to the step of beginning to reveal that we are not man. And this has to do with the forgiveness. Forgiving the resentments that the Course in Miracles is talking about is what gets rid of these separations. I mean, Alan Watts is talking all the time about separation and how we're actually connected to everything around us. And this is it. It's those areas where we place separation between us and others that creates the separation, because I'm not that color, I'm not that religion, I'm not that political leaning, I'm not that gender. And as long as we're doing that, we're separating ourselves and becoming more identified with a veil that's covering our spirituality with our man, and we push everyone out. So as we forgive, we can become more united with everyone and realize we're all just the same. We're all doing the same thing, regardless of what it looks like. You become indifferent to any of it. And then as you get there, you begin to see that, wow, even mine is a veil, theirs is a veil, that's a veil. We're all just veils behind what is behind the veil. And that's how you're going to circumcise your veil, which is your ego, your separate sense of identity and idea that you are just a human, to find something else behind it. So until I'd read this, I hadn't heard this put in this format, in this way, and I'm just blown away by Neville's insight. I think it's so powerful. I hope you found it powerful too. And I guess it's time to get circumcised. On the 8th day. This must be the 8th day, huh? It's one of my numbers. I was born on an 8th day, so I find that pretty interesting. The reason I say it's one of my numbers, so my birthday literally is the 26th of the month, which is a 2 and a 6, and you add those together and it becomes an 8. That's one of our life path numbers. So anyway, pretty interesting stuff. I hope you got as much out of that as I did. Definitely something to reflect on and think about.